September 1657. You are the crown prince of the richest empire on earth. Your father is Shah Jahan, the emperor who built the Taj Mahal. His treasury holds more wealth than every kingdom in Europe combined. 150 million people live under his rule, and you are his favorite son, the heir, the one he keeps at court by his side, while your three younger brothers govern distant provinces. Your name is Dara Shikoh. You are 42 years old. You have spent your life among books and mystics. You've translated Hindu scriptures into Persian. You've written that all faiths point toward the same truth. The court poets adore you. Your father adores you. The throne is, everyone agrees, already yours. And then, one evening in September, your father falls ill. He cannot rise. The physicians whisper. The court seals the palace gates. And somewhere far to the south, your brother Aurangzeb reads a letter, sets it down, and begins, very calmly, to gather his army. You have just started dying. It will take 2 years. Here's what you need to understand about your family. The Mughals have no law of succession, no eldest son rule, no written line of inheritance. When an emperor weakens, every son has an equal claim, and exactly one way to prove it. There's a saying in your dynasty, Takht ya takhta, the throne or the funeral plank. Your great-grandfather fought his own son. Your father, the man now lying ill, took the throne over the bodies of his brothers. This is not a family tradition that skips generations. You have 3 brothers, and every one of them is now a mortal threat. Shah Jahan, governor of Bengal, rich, comfortable, and the moment he hears father is sick, he crowns himself emperor. Just like that. Doesn't wait for confirmation, doesn't wait for anything. Murad Bakhsh, governor of Gujarat, a soldier, brave, blunt, and easily led. He crowns himself too. And Aurangzeb, governor of the Deccan, your opposite in every possible way. You collect mystics, he prays with soldiers. You wear silk, he stitches prayer caps. You believe the empire should hold every faith, he believes it has room for one. He does not crown himself. He just writes to Murad, a warm, humble letter. He wants nothing for himself, he says. He only wants to free their poor father from your corrupting influence. He suggests they march north together. Murad believes him. Remember that. Now, before this goes wrong, understand something. You are not the underdog. You hold the capital. You hold the treasury, the largest on the planet. You hold the imperial army. Your father, recovering slightly, publicly backs your claim from his sickbed. Your son, Suleiman, leads an army east and crushes Shuja's rebellion before it reaches the heartland. One brother down in a single battle. The court celebrates. The astrologers smile. You have money, men, legitimacy, and your father's blessing. History is about to teach you what all of that is worth against one patient man. Because while the court celebrates, Aurangzeb and Murad are moving north. An imperial army sent to stop them meets Aurangzeb's forces at a river crossing called Dharmat. Your army loses. The road to Agra is open, and your father, from his sickbed, gives you permission to do the thing you have never once done in your 42 years of poetry and philosophy. Lead an army into battle. May 29, 1658. A dusty plain called Samugarh, a day's march from Agra. You command somewhere around 50,000 men. war horses, artillery, and a wall of armored war elephants. You sit atop the tallest of them, in a gleaming howdah, visible to your entire army, a mountain of silk and steel. This is the point of the elephant. Every soldier on that field can look up, see their crown prince, and know the fight is still alive. Across the plain, Aurangzeb, fewer men, battle-hardened veterans from the Deccan Wars, and a brother who has been preparing for this day quietly for his entire adult life. The battle begins at dawn. Cannon smoke, cavalry charges. By midday, it's brutal, close, and you are winning. Your cavalry has torn into their flank. Men around Aurangzeb urge him to retreat. He refuses to move. And then it happens. A trusted nobleman at your side, a man history will remember with contempt, urges you to dismount your elephant. Mount a horse, he says. Move faster. Press the advantage. Some chroniclers say it was honest bad advice. Some say it was treachery, bought in advance. Either way, you listen. You climb down. And across a battlefield of 50,000 men, your golden howdah stands empty. Your soldiers look up, the way soldiers do 100 times a battle. The prince is gone. Gone from the elephant means dead. Everyone knows that. A ripple becomes a shudder, becomes a stampede. Your winning army dissolves in an hour. Not defeated, convinced.
You stand on that plain in your armor, alive and untouched, watching 50,000 men run from a battle they were winning, because of where you were no longer sitting. You flee to Agra. You cannot face your father. The shame is physical. You take your family and ride for Delhi, then west, gathering what loyalty money can still buy. Behind you, Aurangzeb does not chase. He does something colder. He surrounds Agra Fort, with your father inside it. The Emperor of India, the builder of the Taj Mahal, has his water supply cut by his own son. The old man holds out for days. Thirst wins. The gates open. Shah Jahan will spend the rest of his life, 8 years, as a prisoner in his own fort, kept in a tower with a view of the river. And in the distance, perfectly framed in the marble window, the tomb he built for your mother. The Taj Mahal, visible every single day, close enough to see, impossible to visit. And Murad, the brother who marched beside Aurangzeb, who believed the humble letter? A few weeks after the victory, Aurangzeb invites him to dinner. Wine is served. Murad wakes up in chains. He'll be imprisoned in Gwalior Fort and eventually executed, on charges Aurangzeb arranges with perfect legal politeness. The ally disposed of. The father caged. The emperor's throne occupied. That's 3 of the 4 players handled. Now he turns to you. For a year you run. Lahore, then down the Indus, then Gujarat. You raise one more army. You were the crown prince, and the name Dara Shikoh still opens some doors, still moves some hearts. At a place called Dethroned, you make your last stand. You lose again. This time there's no army left to rebuild. Your soldiers scatter, your treasure is gone, and the doors that opened for you begin, one by one, to close. You head west toward Persia, exile, but survival. Your wife, exhausted and ill from the march, dies on the road. You are broken now in the way that doesn't show on the outside. And here, at the lowest point, a door seems to open.
An Afghan chieftain named Malik Jiwan offers you shelter. You know this man. Years ago, at the height of your power, he was condemned to death, and you personally intervened and saved his life. He owes you everything. You accept. He feeds you. He shelters you. He waits until you've rested. Then he sells you to Aurangzeb. August 1659, Delhi. They dress you in rags, coarse, filthy cloth. The costume is deliberate, chosen, approved. They place you on an elephant, not a war elephant with a golden howdah, a small, dirty, broken-down animal caked in mud, and they parade you through the capital. Down the same avenues where crowds once threw flowers at the crown prince, past merchants who bowed to you. A European traveler in the crowd that day wrote down what he saw, and what he saw was not celebration. He saw people weeping. Ordinary Delhiwalas crying in the streets for the prince in rags, some cursing the men guarding you. Aurangzeb intended the parade as proof of victory. What the crowd's tears proved instead, that you were still loved, may be the exact thing that signs your death warrant. A defeated brother can be exiled. A beloved one cannot. Through all of it, the mud, the jeers of the paid hecklers, the unbearable pity, witnesses note one thing. You keep your back straight. Aurangzeb does not simply have you killed. That's not how he works. He needs it to be correct. So there's a trial. The charge isn't rebellion. Half the family rebelled, including the man now wearing the crown. The charge is apostasy, heresy. Your life's actual work, the translations, the essay arguing that Hindu and Muslim mysticism were two oceans meeting, the years spent insisting that truth had more than one name, all of it is entered as evidence against you. The clerics deliberate. The verdict was never in doubt. On the night of August 30th, 1659, executioners come to the small house where you're held with your youngest son. You fight them. With a kitchen knife, say some accounts. It doesn't matter. It was never going to matter. You are beheaded. Some chronicles claim the head was sent to Aurangzeb. The darkest versions say it was sent further, to your father, in his tower at Agra. Historians still argue over how much of that is true and how much is the legend that grief writes. The script of your dynasty didn't need the embellishment. Your eldest son, the one who won your only victory, is imprisoned in Gwalior, where inconvenient princes are given a daily drink of slow poison until they fade. Shujah, the brother who crowned himself first, flees east beyond the empire and vanishes from history entirely. Of the four brothers, one remains. Aurangzeb rules for 49 years. He expands the empire to its largest size in history and grinds it down doing so, through endless war, until the whole vast machine is exhausted.
Within decades of his death, the empire that took 3 centuries to build begins falling apart. Historians still argue whether the man who won the succession war was the ruin of the thing he won. But that's not the image this story ends on. The image is a marble tower in Agra Fort, an old man at a window, year after year, looking at a white tomb across the river. The most powerful builder of his age, imprisoned inside his own architecture, staring at the one thing he made for love. When Shah Jahan finally dies, 8 years into his captivity, he is carried across the river at last and buried beside your mother. He only got there by dying. So here is your life, Crown Prince. You held the capital,
the treasury, the army, and the emperor's blessing. Every advantage the empire could confer. And you lost it all to a brother whose only advantages were patience and the willingness to do absolutely anything. The Mughals had no law of succession, just the throne or the funeral plank. Your family ran that experiment 4 ways at once, and the winner was the one who understood, from the very first humble letter, that the game had no rules at all. Your books survived, by the way. The translations they killed you for. They outlived Aurangzeb. They outlived the empire. They outlived the throne itself.